It's a good, gotcha, good, gotcha, good, gotcha. Guess what? Stay tuned. Well, everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. You know it is JJ on the build. You don't know what I went through to get a camera working on my PC right now. Windows screwed everything up. I mean, they literally screwed everything up, but don't screw up and don't forget your drinking snacks, by the way. Hear that? Don't forget it. I need mine, trust me. I spent at least 12 hours because Microsoft decided to screw me on my camera. And this camera is only 2 years old. And they screwed me up on the driver software. So I had to crack out my old, well, not old, because that's only 3 years old. But I had to crack it out. And then I got into a situation with this camera. It was turning on and off. And it's because of this. So I pulled that out. And hopefully it's going to stay alive. Because if my face cuts off, my voice won't, and you can still hear me. The problem started to occur with Windows 11 23H2, the last update they just did on the 14th of January 2025. It seems that there's something wrong with it. And then I go and do a little bit of an investigation. Turn around that what they just uploaded to everybody, this DLL file or whatever it is, attached in the registry and attached to the cameras. So I've been chasing that for the last 8 hours, trying to see if I can find the source. So what I'm thinking is this, that it got a bug in the camera drivers. Microsoft needs to fix this, and they need to fix it fast. And that's not just on top of that. We got more cooking about this. And hopefully I look good, and you guys can tell me if I look good or not on the camera. I did my best to readjust this damn thing to make it look semi-okay. Machine says, if it's not one thing, it's another. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Microsoft missed the opportunity to miss the opportunity. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. You don't know what I went through to adjust this damn thing. I did the graphics card nightmare at, what was it, 7 or 8 o'clock last night. I did it late because I'm sitting, trying to chase around the drivers, trying to get the driver software. And guess what? I couldn't find the driver software. Nowhere. Nowhere on the inner boob. Nowhere. So that put me in the pickle with the cam. So basically, until I can find the driver software, the proper driver software, I can't use the camera. So, hello, Kevin. Good to see you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But I'll tell you what. After doing a little bit of adjusting on the color and stuff like that, I tried to tune it in just right. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because I want to talk about something. And I went to the action screen because I really want to talk about something. And the thing is this. And I'm going to take you guys along with me. And we're going to bring up go. Slide the mic over. And we're going to look up Windows 11 24H2, and guess what they're going to try to do? Force update. Force update. So what they're not saying is this. I got this off of Windows Latest. This says get Windows 11 24H2 quickly and skip over Microsoft's wait with the registry group editor. Well, that's one problem that's right here. So that's one thing. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what we're looking for. Let's see. Let's go to video cards. Guys, we're adventuring together. Microsoft supports guidance for updating Windows 11. Now, that's what we'll have to go through. Unable to update. Oh, god damn. See, this is what I mean. It's like every time I type in something, it's just like, you know, you got to move stuff around. We'll do that. Let's see. We'll find it. Let's see. There it is. It took me a little while, but I was going to find it. Did you hear about the Zotac 5090s? Not yet, but we're going to get to that. That's a part of what we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to be talking about AMD's 9070 or 9070 XT. Is the reason why is because they don't know how to go to CES and announce it like the rest of them did. Except for Intel, they didn't do the same thing about their B570, B580. They didn't mention that whatsoever. And AMD did a little mentioning, but, you know, they didn't show us anything. We got to have AIB partners show us something. That's ridiculous. But let's talk about this a little bit, and we'll get into the 50 series, and we're going to talk about it for the rest of the show. So let's talk about this for a couple minutes. This is forced download phase. It says Windows 11 24H2 shipped on October the 1st, 2024 is an optional upgrade for all existing users, whether you meet the system requirements or not. That's BS. Number one, they told everybody in order to get Windows 11, your processor has to meet a certain requirement with pop count in order for you to upgrade. And also your TPM has to be at TPM 2.0 in order for you to upgrade to Windows 11. No, everybody had to go around and fish around for the alternative to force older computers onto Windows 11. You know, that's crappy that they went this route. They got us all the way up to Windows 10, but didn't want to push us onto Windows 11. But they didn't tell you, on Windows 10, the master boot record for your hard drive or SSD is MBR. But when you want to upgrade to Windows 11, your SSD or hard drive has to be at GPT level. It has to say GPT at the master boot record, or you won't get it at all. See, I got into that spot to where I had master boot record on my SSD because I had it in an older PC. And I just switched it over to a newer PC that had UEFI motherboard, but the other one wasn't UEFI. But now, looking at all this, put me on a wild goose chase. But let's continue with this. We'll talk more about that, so let's continue with this. And I'm just going to cut it in a nutshell. Okay? I'm going to cut it in a nutshell right here. So what they're going to do is this. They're basically going to do this. I'm going to incise this. See this right here? And you guys didn't tell me again. Damn, you guys didn't tell me about the mouse cursor. But guess what? Boom. I already got it. See? Just like that. Look. See where it says Windows 11 24H2 download? Usually what I've been getting up here is they give you the option to install it. But now after January the 16th, which was a couple days ago, there's going to start rolling out to everybody forced updating. So that means in the background it'll be downloading, and then when you shut down your computer and restart it for the next day, guess what's going to happen? You are going to be on 24H2. If you like it or not. That's what they're saying. If you like it or not, it is coming. So either way you look at it, it's coming. And, I'm not going to recommend anybody. I'm on 20. Look, I've already upgraded my PC to the 24H2. Okay? I don't see anything different. But what screwed my camera up was on 23H2. Was the update they had on the 14th for the 23H2. There was something there was 120 updates they did on 23H2. One of them screwed my screwed my camera. The one I've got right here, the camera, it screwed it. So, let's see. Hey, MTBK, good to see you, man. Okay, so, overall, now let's go back to, I know I screwed this. See, I screwed this up. Sorry, I messed that up. I forgot to turn it off again. Guys, you need to help me on this. I figured out what happened with this. I figured out it was a Windows update, and one of the updates, the rollouts, out of all the 120 they did, one of them screwed the pooch. So I was able to get this camera on because it's analog, somewhat. So it's half-half. So basically, the computer can't mess with anything that's on this. For now. That's a good thing. So, Kevin says, the switch to Windows 11 from Windows 10 scares the crap out of me. Hey, Kevin, let me explain this to you. Microsoft auto-updated my computer from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And I told everybody, I told all the subscribers in the chat. And that's what scared me, is because guess what? I have over 1,000 videos stored on my PC. I have all my programming and everything else on my PC. And when I started my computer up, it says updating, updating, updating. That really is like, why is it doing an update when I didn't, I didn't manually do any Windows updates. And then when I looked on the computer, it was at Windows 11. And I was like, Oh my God, what the hell did they do? But here's a but to it. Here's a caveat. Part of Windows 10 was still in there, and everything looked the same on my desktop as it was for Windows 10. But if you hit the Windows key and bring up the what do you call it, the menu, that changed. There's only a couple things that changed. So after me got on Windows, being on Windows 11 for quite a while, you know, it's not that bad. I've only found a couple of hiccups, and these hiccups are not really something I'm going to worry about. But this little bug that happened with my camera, that I can fix. I can fix by getting a decent non-Chinese camera, one that you can get that's, you know, that's a prominent name company that has better software built onto these cameras than this one. This one's a cheapie. So I'll just have to pray to God, pray to the camera gods out there and say, camera gods, send me a camera, one that's got face tracking. That would be great. To where I don't have to do nothing with the camera. It just tracks. And if I tell the camera, come here real quick, it'll come closer. That's what I'm waiting to see. Never mind. It's just a thought. Okay. You'll be fine. Yeah. Look. But all in all, treetop tall, it comes down to it. I got a lot more to lose than, you know, a lot of people out there. A lot of people don't keep their information on their PC, which is the smart thing to do. So if you're using your PC for, you know, you're not putting your personal information on there, just content creator work and stuff. Remember, you can always build a backup server to your PC. So every day at a certain time, your PC backs up to your server. So everything that you have in your PC goes to another PC and backs up there for the next day. So you don't lose your information. Since I got a couple spare computers, I'm thinking about doing it to where my computer every day will back up to a server. And the server won't be connected to the internet. It'll just be connected directly from my PC. So, thought in mind. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the news. Sorry, had to get that out there really quick. 5090 Zotac. Okay, let's go look for a Zotac 5090. Zotac. Okay, what am I looking for, machine? What are you going with this? Did you hear about the Zotac 5090s? Okay. What am I looking for? I'll take you guys with me. How about that? There. Let's blow it up a little bit. Alright. Well, what am I looking for, man? Oh, they're all running 600 watts now. Wow. Cool. That's expected on an overclock, bro. That is expected on an overclock. So let's go to NVIDIA Newsroom. go to NVIDIA Newsroom. Let's see. Yes, done. Whatever. Multimedia news. Anything good? No. Okay. So let's go to video cards. $15. Benchmarks. Okay. This is what Video Cards is claiming. Make sure y'all check them out, by the way. NVIDIA official GeForce 50 versus 40. This is what they did correctly, guys. This is what they did correctly. Number one, they should have done this all along. Even Jensen should have done this. You go platform to platform, the 5070 to the 5070, the 5080 to the 5080, 5090 to 5090, and don't forget about the 5070 Ti to the 5070 Ti. You look at the performance uplift from the one you're on now to the newest one. So if I go from a 4070 to a 5070, what am I going to see? So that's what we're going to find out today. So, you know, truthfully, this is starting to grow on me. This is the 5080. This is the Founders Edition. This is really starting to grow on me. You know, I'm really liking how that looks. Okay. Now, this is from platform to platform. 5090 versus 4090. 33% uplift. 33%. And they said this is RT plus DLSS, no multi-frame gen. Okay, so this is with no multi-frame gen. This is just your normal DLSS 3, basically. DLSS 3 to DLSS 3. Without frame generation. Just to say, 4080 to 5080. 15%. Even though it's 15%, it's still not bad because the memory speed, and with 16 gigabytes of VRAM for the 5080, it's going to be a monster. Out of all the generations, last generation 4080 and the 4070 Ti and the Ti Super, they're all linked to each other. Well, no, the 4070 Ti Super and the 4080 are linked to each other. 4070 Ti is linked to the 4070 and the 4070 Super. Even though they use the same die architecture, they only turn things on and off on the GPU die to make it run faster or slower. So, 4070, 4070 Super, and the 4070 Ti are the same processor. Now, the 4070 Super, the 4080, and the 4080 Super, same processor. 4090, it's in a league of its own. So, just keep that in mind. You know, so the 4080 right here, shader increase to 11%. That's not bad at all. And 15% on overall uplift. 15%, not bad. 5070 to the 4070 to the 5070 Ti. 20%. Shader's only 17%. So 20% uplift is still not bad. So that's like taking the overall max of your 4070 Ti and strapping on the same way with all, you know, the way they have it here, and strapping on 20%. So if you take your 4070 Ti, You test it with the same parameters, same game. It might not be the same frame, but put it into an average and add 20% to it. What do you got? You got the 5070 Ti. Now, that's on what they got here. It's not bad. I'm telling you right now, it's not bad. Let me read what you guys got to say. I would not do that. I mean, well, you guys are having that personal conversation. 600 watts, I have to get a part-time job and pay the electric bill. Oh, you would have to pay the electric bill? Ooh. That's time to go solar energy. So you can run 600 watts. I run a little over 400 watts just right here on my PC. Not including my two TVs, my cam, and everything else. I would equal to about almost 700 watts total. So, now, 4070 to 4070 or 4072 versus the 5070. 20% uplift, which I already know with the settings, you know, that they got there, the DLSS and the RT, and Horizon Forbidden West, and chop on 20% to that. That'll tell me what the 5070 is doing. And guys, it's only the hype that Jensen was trying to give you, the hype. He was exaggerating that the 5070 is faster than a 4090. Don't take that serious. Take it with a grain of salt. That was a joke. He did it as a nerdy kind of joke. But the 5070 being 20% faster is only going to push this up to a 4070 Ti. Close to it. That's it. You turn a multi-frame generation, you'll push up to a 4070 Ti Super. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to beat around the bush. You know what? I'm not going to beat around the bush with you guys. I'm going to tell you straight up. It'll go in between a 4070 Ti and a 4070 Ti Super. That's with multi-frame generation on. And I know a lot of people don't like multi-frame generation, but get over yourself. When you're using the 40 series and you're playing on frame generation, that's 2 frames right there. So now you're going to play on a 5070, that's 4 frames. So you get 2 more frames. So what? Plus you got to where you can adjust it to where instead of doing the 2 frame, you can do 3 frame. And you can lower the latency. You don't have to run a full 4 frame. You can run 3 frames and still get the performance. Or you can run 2 frames and still have at least 12% uplift from a 4070. Come on, guys. It's common sense. It is common sense. I don't know how I keep telling everybody this. You can adjust. It's how you balance your PC out. Number one, your motherboard, your CPU, the BIOS, the SSD, the RAM you use, you balance all of it out. Because if you don't, then you're going to run into problems like some people will, is because they don't know how to do this. So, 30 on a 5080, the fastest you can buy. For the price point, the 5080 is 1/2 of a 5090. Just like on the 40 series, just like on the 40 series, if you measure it, and the way I measured it, this 4070 runs one half of the 4090. So the 5070, it runs, you know, right behind the. It's on its own. It's simple. 50 series, it's basically on its own. Now I know the 5070 is going to push the limits of the 9070 XT from AMD. So we all know this. It's going to push the limits. So that's where AMD is going to be stuck. Is because the 5070, what happens if you guys get the benchmarks and the 5070 is faster than the 7900 XT? Think about it. I can already tell you with the faster RAM that's on there, the faster VRAM, it's going to blow it out of the water. I mean, you can't replace speed for quality. Okay? The amount of textures you're putting on your monitor is going to determine your latency with speed. So if you balance the colors and everything correctly, and you got it running nice and smooth, but you got a hell of an FPS overall with low latency, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Let it run. Let the machine do the work. You just do the gameplay. You have to understand that. Let the computer do the work and you play the game. That's how it works. So, I can't wait to see the new prices because the 40 series prices aren't dropping fast enough for me. I know I have no patience. Well, you know what, Kevin? I'm going to tell you this. Wait for the 50 series. End of the month. January the 30th, they're going to be coming to market. The 24th, they're going to do the benchmarks on the 5080 and the 5090. And the day after, I think it's the day after, I think they do it the day after, they're going to do the 5070 and 5070 Ti. Part of the 5080 is the 5080D that they're going to be doing on the 30th. So, I can tell you, for $550, the same price as a 7800 XT, same price as a 7900 GRE, same price as a 4070, same price as a 4070 Super. Put all that together. Now you got a 5070. That's all in price comparison. 5070. But if you're looking at a 20% uplift from 4070 to 5070, and it's still in that same price bracket, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You know, truthfully, my heart is broken because I'm thinking I got the 7800 XT. I got the 4070. And I'm thinking to myself, the 5070. And now I'm starting to really think I'm kicking myself in the foot for getting the 4070. But I got the 4070 back when it first launched. It's done. Look, what I paid for it, it's done that and some. It's definitely earned its money. So I just say it like this: it earned its share. I would like to get a 5080. The 5090 is too much of a price jump. Well, actually, no, Kevin, it's not, because I'm going to explain this. You go to buy a 4090 right now on the market, it's more than the 5090. It's like $600 to $700 more for a 4090 than it is a 5090. If you look at MSRP, yeah, it looks like it's $400 more. But now in today's market, it's just the opposite. And with all the power problems the 4090 has, and now they switched the 5090 to the 6 plus 2 high power, 12 volt high power. And I haven't heard anything about that yet. So, when the graphics cards come out, let's see how that 6 plus 2 high power is going to work. Because if it works out well for the 5090, then guess what? The 4090 is nothing but a thing of the past. Yes, and I agree with Machine. It will drop in price because you know NVIDIA, the launch price is always going to be high no matter what company it is. And after a month or two, they start to come down a little bit on the price. So, launch price is always going to be higher than, the timeline price. You got a price in the timeline. It fluctuates. Goes by what the market's saying. And that's what NVIDIA goes by, what the market's telling them. So if the market tells them they're not selling enough, then that means they're not making enough. That's one. Or two, they're just not selling enough, period. That comes to another thing. When it comes to the 5090, there's rumors, and I'm going to say, take this with a grain of salt. There is rumors that the 5090 is not going to launch when the 4090 launches, or the 5080. So the 5080 will launch, and they're going to delay the 5090. That's what I'm hearing. But that could be either or. That could be the 5090 or the 5090D, the 5090 Dragon, or whatever it is. Because the 5090D is supposed to be a launch for China. But if there's a restriction put on the 5090D that they can't sell over to China, then that means they're not going to make any 5090Ds, or they're going to postpone the 5090 until they got a big market to sell to. They're not going to make something and they can't sell to the big market. That's not how business works. Yeah. So, that's something to really think about. The 5080, I'm going to tell you, it's going to, for another thing I'm hearing, the 5080 is going to be on a limited menu. Just like Intel did with the B580. And you know what? You guys can say what you want, and I'm going to say this again. The $250 B580, that was a paper launch. They only launched maybe 5 or 10,000 of them. And they never replenished it. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think that was the biggest goof that Intel made. To me, they lost my interest as being a reviewer because of the simple fact they screwed up and they didn't give anybody enough time, or they didn't have enough stock for a $250 graphics card. No, they could put a gunnier out there, for, one of the AIB manufacturers selling it at $400. And you know what? A $250 graphics card, selling it for $400, you can just pucker up and kiss my beep. I had to do the beep. I can't, I have to have a little bit more self-respect. So, another thing about the 50 series cards. If you're going to buy at launch, you better do it quickly. Because the scalper bots, and you guys heard me right, the scalper bots are going to be hitting Amazon, Newegg. They can't hit Micro Center. Micro Center's in store, so you can buy it in store at Micro Center. And I'm sure they will have some there. But Best Buy, it's over the inner boob. So with Best Buy, they're going to have the Founders Edition there. They already got it listed, coming soon. So if you got an account with Best Buy, then I suggest you get yourself a notification bell or figure buying on a pre-order. So AIBs will have some 5090s, but no Founders Edition on the 5090s. Well, that's kind of funny because Best Buy had, if you go look at I'm going to take y'all with me. We're just going to do this. I'm just going to take you all along with me. See? And we're going to go to Best Buy. B-U-Y. We're going to go to Best Buy. And we're going to type in 5090 RTX. Yeah. Tell me that don't look like a Founders Edition, bro. See, it's got a notification thingy here. Tell me that don't look like a Founders Edition. Tell me, bro, tell me that doesn't look like it. Let me blow it up for you. That's a Founders Edition, man. Why would a store, a big box store, put something like this on their page if they know they weren't going to get it? I could be wrong, but I could be right too. I could be right. So I think twice about it. But I'm going to tell you, you can get the 5080. If you're looking for the 5080, no, I ain't taking no survey. The hell out of here with that survey crap. I ain't getting no survey. See, now, that's a 5080, bro. Looks like a 5090. If it's a placeholder, they would have never put it on their page. I have yet to see them put it on their page like that. But this is what I found out surfing the interweb. And I found that you can get the 5080 here, the Founders Edition. To me, guys, I'm going to tell you, I look at this right here. I don't like the Founders Edition. And yeah, you heard me right. I don't like the Founders Edition. I really don't. Is because, one, the max you can get out of it won't hit the max of an overclock card. So, yeah, no. But what we can do is we can go to Newegg, and I'll take you guys there soon. And we can type in 50 series. Okay, now we go back to the action screen again. Okay, look at this. The Astro RTX 5090. Look at that. That is going to be a sick card. Look at that. That is going to be sick. That is one, two, that's three and a half slots. That's a big boy. Founders Edition's only going to be about 2.5. This is 3.5. Yeah, it probably is. But, bro, they got the Vanguard, you know, they got the Gigabyte, they got MSI, Asus. Oh, that's a 4070. I got this one right here. So, they got a Supreme. They call it the Supreme. There's a Zotac Amp Extreme. Wow. That's not too bad, guys. That's not too bad. Ice Storm, Spectra, Dual BIOS, Freezer Tech, you know, that's dealing with the fans. Firestorm, probably if the plug catches on fire. Huh. Interesting. So, NVIDIA Founders Editions are more for normal people who want to use their graphics cards normally and not overclock like me. Yeah, well, you know what? We all got our choices, you know. MTBK, we all got our choices, man. We all make that. That's the whole reason of having a choice. Several choices. That's the whole purpose of getting a choice. Is something you choose for yourself that nobody else can have. Because you have it for yourself. So this is a 5080 here. 5080, that's MSI. I'm not, you know. I mean, that's a 5090. That is a 5090. Tough Gaming, GeForce. Have a look at that bad boy. Oh, I like that. I like that right there. No RGB. I like it like that. That I like right there. Oh, yeah. It's not too shabby. Wow. That is a chonker. That is a chonky one. Boy, they didn't lose a moment putting down here. Powered by advanced AI. Algorithm intelligence. They didn't miss a moment for this. That's for sure. Alrighty. Let's go back to the main screen. Let's put this on the back burner for a minute. I set the Best Buy notification for the 5080. I'll let you know when that works out. All right, cool, bro. Cool. Please let me know. Please let me know. All right, trying to get to the Discord thing. Yeah. Well, for some reason, let me see why. Oh, that's why. Duh. Let's see. 9070 OC, 16 gigabytes. Yeah, but still, the bandwidth is 624.1 gigabits per second, and it's still PCIe 4.0 x16 their machine, and it's 260 watts. I don't know, man. I don't know. I looked at it. The thing, the only competition that's going to be stuck, that card's going to be stuck in, and like I said, it might make up to the 7900 XT, but you got to remember, it's only got 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and the 7900 XT's got 20 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay. Whatever price they're going to put this at, that's going to make the difference. That's going to make the difference. So, since AMD wants to hide everything, just to say, they didn't put any real big thing at CES. I mean, left everybody hanging in the wind, and then turns around and tells one reviewer that all the benchmarks that are out there for the 9070 XT are false. He said it. They're false. It's not even nowhere near what the speed of the 9070 XT is. That's what he claims. Do remember, they claimed that about the 7900 XTX, that it was going to beat the 4090. What happened? It barely struggled up to the 4080. Ugh. Makes me think that AMD is going to give us a little more misinformation like usual. Just like they did the last time. And then when the coolers, the GPU coolers that were on those cards started to blow up, that became an issue. Don't feel bad. 4090, the power plug on that started blowing up too. So they both were kind of balance of mixed ass words, but whatever. Yeah, the recommendation they put was 850 watts. Bro, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to end up having too much power as it is, running that right at stock level, and you're going to be fine. You have to remember, they're basing the power on the 9800 X3D, the biggest and the baddest processor that's out there on the market, and the biggest and baddest motherboard that's on the market, and the biggest and baddest RAM on the market. They're all basing it upon that. So you got your motherboard, your CPU, and then you got your GPU, you got your RAM, and then you got your SSD. all in that motherboard, and then you combine it in one big total, and your system fans, the RGB, all together into one big package. So, with a 20% uplift from a 4070 to the 5070, I'm running a 750 watt power supply with the 4070, the 5700X, and using a Strix motherboard on AM4 platform, which is one of the better motherboards for the AM4 family. So, and I'm running 64 gigs of RAM, I'm running 6 fans, and I'm running an AIO cooler and everything else on a 750 watt power supply. And plus I'm running a big hard drive that's 16 terabytes on top of that. So put all that together. That doesn't even equal up to 500 watts. And you're stressing out about a 4080 or a 5080 and the amount of power that's going to use? What, 350 watts, maybe 375 at the max? I'm using 200 watts off of my GPU, 208. So, do the math. It's not hard. I have the AMD statement in Discord. Okay. You're going to get better performance than most of the leaks I've seen, if not all of them. Well, that proves what I'm saying right there. You will get performance out of the card. How much better? I'm not going to tell you. Okay. Again, when somebody says that, look in between the lines, because guess what? I had to go to school for learning how people act, especially in the hospitality industry. I had to read people. When I see quotes like that, I smell something. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of smelling bullshit. That's nothing but a marketing plan to tell you that they're trying to hype it up to be something that it's, watch. It'll get its benchmarks and it won't meet the hype. And then you all are going to be coming back to NVIDIA and saying, well, I shouldn't have went with NVIDIA, but I got me an AMD graphics card and I'm happy with it. Okay, be happy with it. So, remember, I've tested AMD's stuff. Their processors, I'll give them spot on with their processors. Their graphics card and their drivers and their software, I will not give them 100%. Me running NVIDIA for the past 2 years, solid. Not removing the drivers, just stacking the drivers on top of each other. I'll tell you this, hands down, I haven't had one problem. I did that with the 7800 XT, and I went to do a back stacking. Stack one after another. I stacked like 15 different updates on that card. But it didn't handle it so well. It did not handle it so well. So, let me pull you guys up a list. Let me pull you up a list here. Let's see. Where's it at? Microsoft. Yeah, it might be there. System software, NVIDIA software. Okay. Now, you see all these? I stopped right here because then I just did the auto updates on the app. Right here. Let me blow this up for you so you can see it better. See, view. There. That's big enough. All right here. Okay. Now, if you think about it, I stacked all these drivers on top of each other. Never did a clean install yet. So, if I'm having no issues with driver software with NVIDIA, I did the same thing with AMD. AMD blue screened on me bigger than life. So that's something you have to think about. I put these GPUs, every GPU, I put it through every test I can think about. Every test I can think about. To test the software to the hardware. And if it can't handle the punishment I put up on that hardware with the software and it crashes, then I know that's going to be one piece of hardware that goes on the shelf. And we'll give it a bad recommendation. I keep all the updated driver software stacked. So I can do those little tests and see if it handles what I put out there. I just start nailing it. One right after another. See how fast it does it. See if there's any hiccups or anything else. And that's the reason why I kind of stopped doing the videos on the driver updates for NVIDIA. Is because every month I'm getting a new driver, new software, new updates. I've been pretty happy with NVIDIA's driver software. Pretty happy. I don't know if you guys are happy about it. Make sure, just let me know. I'm happy about it. And also too, try to make YouTube happy and put a like on this live stream if you can. It would be appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, by the way. And tell your friends. And let's get it packed up in here. So that way we can reach the 1,000 mark. But we're trying. Even though everybody thinks that I'm just a bald guy that sits behind a black screen. It's not a black screen, but it could be. But I'm going to tell you this. The whole point of me talking about the 50 series today, I hear all this misinformation about everybody complaining about the software. One, you have not tried it yet, so stop bitching. Number one, stop bitching. You have not tried it yet. You have not tested it yet. Don't complain about it. Me, I go by what my opinion and my feelings are. Somewhat. But keeping it professional. thinking about the consumer and what they would feel. But this is going beyond the levels of insane. Stop complaining about the hardware. Wait until it comes out. Wait until the benchmarks come out. And then, talk about it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just trying to let you guys know what I've been seeing lately, what other people are saying. But my feelings right now about this new hardware, the 9070 XT don't look bad. In my opinion, it doesn't look bad. But it doesn't look that great neither. Because it's going to fall short of people that like ray tracing. Me, it wouldn't fall short, but I think it would fall short with me doing content creator work. I think that's where it would fall short with me. Not unless I switched over to an Intel processor, which ain't happening right now. I wouldn't even think about doing that. So, think about the longevity of how long you're going to have your system and plan it very carefully. And if you get stuck, just say to yourself, what's the best thing to do? I'm going to tell you what the best thing to do is. Cut it right down in the middle with your hardware. Instead of getting low end, get the middle end. Instead, for your motherboard, your CPU, your graphics card, your system RAM, your SSD, and the rest is all cosmetic, and your power supply. Just cut it down the middle. The rest of it's cosmetic. So, as long as your motherboard fits in whatever case that you get, and as long as your graphics card fits in whatever case you get, that's all that matters. I always tell everybody you want 360, you want at least 420 millimeter length on a case. So that way you can accept any kind of graphics card. At least 420 millimeters from the back of the fan. Not the front of the fan, the back of the fan. So, rumor has it someone is looking to buy Intel, the entire company. Yeah, you never know. Maybe Donald Trump is going to buy it. But you never know. Qualcomm has put a bid in for Intel. There's maybe 3 or 4 companies that kind of stuck their hand out and dipped their toe into the water. But right now, the way the investors look at it, they're not into that point of selling off Intel. Yeah, I know. Everybody said Elon's going to buy it. If Elon buys it, he better know that they're going to want at least $600 billion for it. Because on the market, that's all it's really worth is $600 billion. So, just to be honest. Yeah, they could. I agree. Kevin says Intel could use the change. No, they could use a new CEO. Somebody that would put change in there. Somebody that would give a better direction. Other than going this, they're heading down a direction of destruction. They're taking their business computer processors and putting some architecture onto that for the gaming side of the field. They're taking bits and pieces from here, there, and everywhere and constructing a new CPU for the gaming community. This is what they're doing. They're not innovating. This is where they get stuck, is because they're not innovating. No fresh ideas are floating into Intel. None. No fresh, no nothing. What they need is the CEO to have a gamer's perspective when it comes to building PCs, and have that perspective of what it takes to be successful and to move forward to the future of CPU and GPU processing. They're stuck. Intel's in a loop. They're stuck in an Intel loop. It just goes right around. It's because they invest in the wrong things. They had the right people to help them push up the innovation, but guess what? Pat Gelsinger, he turned around and had the best people on his team to build the ultimate processors, and he cut them loose. He cut them loose. And now they're working for themselves. They're working in different companies. That was crazy stupid. He could have gotten the ultimate processor for the x86, but he blew it. Pat Gelsinger blew it. Yes, I'm getting more water. But he blew it. No matter what anybody says right now to me, from what I know and I see and I hear, running away with $212 million, and that makes you look like you're a thief of your own company. But I'm not accusing anybody. Don't quote me on that. But I'm not accusing nobody. That's his company. He can do whatever he wants. Obviously, the board kicked him out, so obviously he didn't have his company. Obviously, the board controlled the company. That's another issue. When you got a board controlling your company, that means everybody has their hand into that pot. That means you got too many big heads in there. I would have canceled out the board. Hey, Elon Musk did it with Twitter. He took the whole board and said, "You're fired." He became the board. And that's what they need. True leadership. One person, one mind controls it all. Hey, but, if it was me and I took over CEO, I would tell that whole board to go to hell and get out. You're costing the company too much money. So all that money they would have saved on those people being in there, gone. And this thing with being on the stock market, I'd pull it right off the stock market and go private. That's what I would have done. So, if DBK says AMD did the same stuff with Bulldozer, I could imagine, man. Yeah, I know they did, but this is 2025, bro. And they're still doing the same crap. Over and over. Suck a company dry, make everybody believe they got the best product in the world, suck the company dry, and then guess what? Throw it in the trash. That is so much waste of money, manpower, and everything else when they could have made that company so much better. And invested their time more in building, a chip making plant here in the United States, which they were supposed to in Ohio, which they got a grant from the government for $8 billion. Hell, I bet you I know more about what's going on with Intel than Pat Gelsinger does. Having more integer operations well suited for server applications, maybe Crisis 2. Bro, I got Crisis 2 on CD. And when I first bought the actual set, I've only got it to run one time on my PC. One time. That game is a monster when it comes to running it solo on your PC. It is a it's a monster. So, other than that, Intel Sandy Bridge, I got Sandy Bridge. It's floating around here somewhere. Was the smarter choice back then? Yeah. But you notice they haven't made too many choices since back then to make them better choices to now. Obviously, they haven't learned their lessons from back then to now. So, not learning your lesson doesn't mean you're going to know more about what's going on in the world. And that's the problem. People think they get what happens is they get big heads. Their heads just blows up. I don't have a big head. I do not have a big head. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because I studied on my own. Bit by bit by bit by bit over the years. So, my amount of knowledge, I'm not saying is better than everybody else's. I got the right amount of knowledge to do the job, so it's as simple as that. That's the reason why I can sit here and talk to you guys all day and all night long about how to build a PC and make it run more efficient than some of them out there with no problem, no worries. I do all the equations up here, not in my PC, up here. So, maybe Intel and DEI infected. Bro, oh yeah, that brings. Hey, since you brought up DEI, that brought me up to another thing. I went to the doctor's the other day. I wanted to talk to the doctor for longer than 15 minutes. Doctor says, no, I can't. It's not a part of our policy. You only get 15 minutes for one thing, one medication, that's it. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell kind of doctor is this? And come to find out, it was a DEI doctor. What is DEI? I'm not even going to, I don't even want to know. Don't even say it. I don't even want to know. Okay, it's like if you go to Congress and ask them, define a woman. Are they really going to be able to do that? Come on, hello. That was, when I seen that, that was the utmost, I was bawling laughing when that question was asked. I mean, that was like, when you're asking a woman to define a woman, and you can't, and she can't do it, I don't know what y'all are thinking, but, I mean, simple definition of a woman is right in front of you. Go look in a mirror. That's a simple definition of a woman. So, I mean, hey, don't be picking up my bald head now. I see Kevin picking up my bald head. Oh my goodness. It is something that is hard to get rid of. Well, not my head, trust me. You guys are rough today. Wow. You guys just don't know what I had to go. Well, I told you already what I had to go through to get this camera to work. You know, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how am I going to do my Saturday live stream if my camera's all screwed? That's the reason why I was pushing myself to get it to where, you guys got video. And I know I could have did it just by voice. But I didn't want to do that and leave you guys hanging in the wind, because I know you guys want to see everything. Everything. There's too many fake videos out there. You don't know if it's fake or real. I could have taken pre-recorded something, did it live, and you guys would have thought I was there. I don't want that to happen. That's like if you go to McDonald's, there's no teller because they tell you go use the kiosk. So you got nobody taking your money, nobody giving you a smile. Is the frickin' kiosk gonna smile to me? No, it's not. Is it going to ask me how my day's going? No, it's not. And that's not the half of what is on my mind. I went to get my blood taken yesterday, and all you see is a kiosk, the windows closed, and people sitting in a room. So that means you got everything that's going online to a computer. There's no receptionist. There's nobody taking phone calls. Nothing. Just person taking blood, and that's it. All your information goes on the computer. That's it. And I asked the person taking blood, don't you get lonely? And she says, no, I got you all coming in. You guys keep me busy all day long. It's just one after another. And it keeps me going all 8 to 12 hours a day. That job would have drove me up the wall if all I did was take blood all day long. I don't know. That just seems crazy. I still don't know if the 5080 is the right choice for me. If I can even get it. Bro, we've had this discussion many of times. Many of times. Look at the graphics card you're on right now, the 6800. Think about it. Even if you reach past 25% more performance, that's going to be better than what you got right now. And if you do get a 5080, we calculated this earlier. You're looking at your baseline at 100%. And you know the 5080 is going to push it and surpass 100%. Hands down. I think the fear is the rasterization. That's where everybody gets locked into that fear of rasterization. Am I going to get a graphics card that's going to give me enough rasterization? If you actually go and look at all the graphics cards from the 6000 series all the way up, and look at all the graphics cards from the 30 series all the way up, and you'll see the ups and downs of how much rasterization you got with each one of those cards. Who holds the bag of more rasterization? We all know AMD does, because they focused on rasterization, not ray tracing. Now, on the other hand, NVIDIA focused on ray tracing and not rasterization. But they gave a stock level, they pushed their rasterization to a stock level, but they pushed their ray tracing harder, giving more performance to NVIDIA than AMD. Yeah, it might look like AMD kind of surpasses NVIDIA on certain cards, but once you turn on the ray tracing and you turn on everything else, AMD's like, you got AMD here and you got NVIDIA here. Started here, ended up here. So, that's the reason why I stayed with my NVIDIA card. That's why I stayed with them. Is because the software climbed. And as the software got better, so did my graphics card. When you start off in the beginning with the first set of drivers, people, the first set of drivers, that's baseline. That is baseline. So as you get your monthly roll-ins with driver updates, it gets better and better and better and better and better. It'll get to a point to where it will be just as great as the stepping stone for the next level, within a 5 to 10% difference between the 40 series and the 50 series. Driver updates will take you all the way up that close to the next generation. Hello, pseudoscientist. Good to see ya. NVIDIA will have better AI potential. Yeah. They set themselves up at the 20 series. The start off of the 20 series, 2060 if I remember right. From the 20 series up, they used that as an actual stepping stone and built their way up to the 40 series. Now on the 20 series you could do DLSS. On the 30 series you could do DLSS. On the 40 series you could do DLSS. So each one of the series only upgraded one after the next. You go from DLSS to DLSS 2 to DLSS 3 and now DLSS 3.7 and now we're going up to DLSS 4 in the 50 series. So, but they did post that chart and said that the 40 series is going to get everything else but not multi-frame generation. One thing. Just one thing that it's not going to get. But why would you want multi-frame when you got double frame? You got X2 frame generation. X2. And going up to the 50 series, you'll have X4 frame generation. Listen to what I'm saying very carefully. You'll go X2, you'll end up going to the 50 series and go up to X3 and then call it a day. Nobody's going to be playing on X4. So, I already have that feeling, and people are going to say, well, if I go up one more frame, oh, it's a fake frame, it's a fake frame. When you play games, it's all fake. Games have been created by a developer that just put his 2 cents out there and said, here's you a game. And everything in that game is fake. Has no realism. It's not real-time realism. So, it's all fake. Wake up and smell the coffee. It's 2025. You don't see us flying around in spaceships going to the store now, do you? You don't see we have those little floating motor vehicles yet, do you? What is AI? AI is nothing but algorithm intelligence. Man-made algorithms put together to make you guys think that you got a living robot. Oh my God. Until robots start making a choice on their own, until your computer makes a choice on its own, everything is algorithm intelligence, not artificial. Artificial means it's what? Fake. It's a man-made word for fake. I just wish everybody would wake up and smell that coffee. Because, I mean, come on, guys. You want to know what's real and what's fake. Okay? Using fake frames ain't nothing new. They do that on television. Posting one frame over the next. What's the difference? Actually, they do more than one or two. They do like 16 to 20. So they can take still pictures and go bam, 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 and put like 30 pictures on top of each other, and just put them side by side, going all the way up, and they can make a whole video off of that. Okay, so what is AI? AI is, like I told you, algorithm intelligence. It's not artificial. Artificial means it has a mind of its own, so it doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't speak to you, doesn't tell you what time it is, doesn't tell you to go and, and can't give you the middle finger neither. And, it can't tell you to go to hell, and it can't tell you to make your own lunch, and it can't pull your hair when it wants to. What the hell? Come on, let's get real. You want to know what's real? You want to know what's fake? Okay. Playing the game is fantasy world. Fake. Science fiction. I don't know what this kick with AI is. There is no kick. It's just the hype. It's all you're paying for is the hype. Now, that is bad. If you're paying for the hype and you're not getting anything solid, that's a problem. If you're paying $200 for just the hype, that's a problem. But if you're buying something solid that's materialistic, like a graphics card, and everybody says, well, yeah, well, comes with all this multi-frame generation, everything else, it's all fake, it's all fake, it's all fake, it's all fake. You know what? You said the same thing with the 40 series. You almost said the same thing with the ending of the 30 series. And you're still going to say it on the 50 series. Nobody cares. Stop with the misinformation. The whole purpose of software being there is to give you a better advantage in your visuals in your game. It's supposed to give it a better texture, give it more life, make it breathe. But the problem is nobody looks at it like that. They just say, well, because it pops a frame on top of a frame on top of a frame and so on. It is moving so fast in between all those extra frames. It goes frame, pep, 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 to the next frame. That you rarely, if you set up your video preferences the right way, you would never see that glitch. You would never see that artifacting. You would not see a difference to what reality would be to what fantasy would be. Problem is everybody goes in there and just turns things, just likes to touch, and turn things up and down, up and down, up and down, until they learn that they can blow it up. And then once they blow it up, they get on the internet. Oh my God, it blew up on me. And you get people out there that says, well, you probably did this. And overcranked everything. And you blew it up. Because you didn't know what to turn up and what to turn down. That's pretty. You know how many times I had friends come over and ask me, hey, I got a problem with my graphics card? Many of times. Go inside their settings in their computer, they got them all cranked up all over the place. And I'm like, now you know why your GPU doesn't work. Because I'd have to pull their GPU out and put in a temporary one to go in their settings for their motherboard. Guess what happens? They have everything cranked up. Everything. For the CPU, everything's cranked up. Then you go into the OS, and then they got, overclocking software on. Automatically starts when you boot up Windows. Overclocking software on. Boom. It's just like one after another. And then the computer starts moving like a turtle. It's because if you don't do overclocking software and turn it on manually, before your computer boots up, it boots it into the kernel, and it makes the kernel work harder, makes your graphics card slower, makes your CPU slower, all that stuff. As soon as you start up your computer, have nothing running in the background. Nothing. As soon as it starts up, manually turn on everything. Your computer will run just fine for a lot longer time. And also, too, when you go to overclock your GPU, don't crank it up to 90 to 100%. You'll burn up the GPU die that's in there. If you got it stock at 100%, take it up an extra 50. Instead of having 100%, take it up to 50. You get 50 more percent, so that's 150%. If you crank it up to 200%, you're going to kill your GPU. Just like your CPU. Crank up more power, put more voltage in it and everything else, you're going to burn up your CPU. You're going to kill the silicon. You're going to kill the silicon badly. And then you're going to be SOL when it comes to having a perfect running computer. I test mine, when I benchmark on mine, it only goes up on an overclock 25 to 30% more. That's all you need. It's already set finally at 100%. Now, going in fine-tuning your computer, that's another story. But, to fine-tune your computer, that takes a little bit more knowledge and time and everything else. That means you have to do your homework, and, you have to really study what everything does in the motherboard BIOS, and you have to know when you download a program and put it together, like, let's say, Ryzen Master. You really need to know what you're doing in order to make it run perfectly. I can tell you even quarter of the reviewers that are out on YouTube today still don't know how to run Ryzen Master. Still, they don't know how. They hit a couple buttons and say, oh, look, I'm getting more performance. Then they got a guy in the background that's the technician saying, hey, you need to do it this way. I've seen that before, too. And trust me, I know how to run Ryzen Master. So, it's not a big deal to me. I just think it's funny. You get some of these simple overclocking tools, and not one person that I've seen that knows how to actually run an overclocking tool. That's within the computer itself, not external tools. They run to the external tools is because they can't get the software to run the way they want it to. That's checks and balances when you have to check and balance your software to make it run right for the overclocking, the testing, and everything else. I do not have any tools. Read my lips. I do not have any tools outside of my PC. I use all the tools inside my PC. Why am I going to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars when you got the tools right there? Oh, because it doesn't measure accurately. Well, no one's perfect neither. You're going to have a 3% variance. So what? Just doesn't make sense to me, guys. It really doesn't. You know, I mean, let me move this camera a little bit. It seems like I'm there. I'm like ducking down a little bit, and you guys are like, where are you going, Jay? So, and yeah, you're right. NVIDIA will have a better AI potential. Yeah. But what I'm waiting to see is, I know you all are waiting to see at the end of this year, will NVIDIA come out with the CPU that will accommodate with their GPUs, that will run fast and effective. And you know they started this in 2023. I think it's 2023. You can quote me on it. But they did, and they're working on it. That looks like something I might be of interest of, because the fact of what Microsoft's doing with Windows, who knows what's going to happen next. But I still want to see them do the one thing. I still want to see them do the one thing. Y'all are probably wondering, well, what's that one thing? I want to see Microsoft do the right thing. That's the one thing. Do the right thing. And let everybody with decent processors go up to 24H2 on Windows 11. Because we all know after 2025 and 2026 hits, they're going to come out with a whole new operating system. We all know it's coming. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around, because we're at the end of Windows 11. Not unless they go to 25H2, which that would be what? October? November of 2026? Maybe? Maybe sooner? Who knows? I don't know, guys. I really don't know. But as far as NVIDIA with their graphics cards, I'm going to say it is like this. If you don't have it in your hands, don't knock it. I'm not going to knock it because I seen some some people say they got some benchmarks and, on the graphics cards. They possibly could have. We only have how many days to go? 8 days? Maybe less? For NVIDIA, AMD, it's less than that. It's either everything's going to break all hell's going to break loose on the 22nd, I think. From the 22nd to the 30th, all hell's going to break loose when it comes to PC parts. And also, too, I'm hearing that, also AMD is thinking about doing a Zen 2 processor and putting it on the market. Not Zen 3, Zen 2. It's probably because one of those handhelds that they did, they want to incorporate on that and put something out for the DIY market. Who knows? We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. Things are getting to the point to where they're going to be going to handheld. Now you're going to get things that are going to the size of a sheet of paper. And you got a full screen TV on a sheet of paper. They're working on it. That thin. How they're going to do it, who knows? But it is coming. So, don't be surprised if it's not. I know it sounds like I was kind of rattling on today, but I wasn't. There's many things that is going on in the PC world right now. Like, and I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm going to get this point clear. I know last time that a reviewer put out some negative comments about another reviewer, I told you guys I'm not going to get into it. And I promise you this time, even though it makes great content, I promise you, I'm not stepping my foot in any of it. I read something last night, just saying I read something last night about one reviewer talking about another reviewer and another reviewer getting pissed. I'm not going to say who, what, when. No, I'm not going to do that. So don't even ask. You have to find the information yourself. And please don't post anything on it. Because we're taking the channel in a different direction. We want to take this channel to a positive note and go a positive direction. There's too much negative going on in this world. We need to have a positive direction to go. So, I am going to be taking you guys in a positive direction. Even though sometimes I get a little antsy about what this company does and they say out there, yeah, that's fine. But that's not a negative direction. That's just to inform you that this company is acting like a butthead or something. They shouldn't be doing it, but, But that's just dealing with the companies. That's not dealing with people personally. That's not saying negative stuff about people personally. Just to let you know that. That's not how it's going to work here. So if you got a negative green thumb and you want to put your negativeness here, don't plant it here. The seed's not going to stay. If you want to come here to talk about PCs and have fun and do all that, let's do it. But if you're going to plant negative seeds all over my channel, you will not be here. I know people that do that, and I don't appreciate it. But everybody here, I do know. I got to know a lot of you guys. I'm trying to get to know all the subscribers. In time, I will. But that's something that's on a positive note. But when you guys want to shill a company, I can understand that. But if you're going to go shill a friend, or not a friend, but anybody that's on the channel and you shill them, that's about the same thing that these two reviewers are doing against each other. They're creating a havoc in the community. But There's two communities, and I'm going to put this to you. Two communities. You got the PC community, and you got JJ's PC Builds community. This community doesn't fall prey to that. Just telling you. PC world can fall prey all it wants. Anybody comes here, it's not going to happen. Just want to point this out so you all know. Isn't Zen 2 too efficient for handhelds? Haven't I heard that they stuck in that they were using a Zen 2 processor for the PS5? Or am I wrong about that? I heard they were using a Zen 2 processor for the PS5. Leave your comments, guys. Let me know your thoughts. I thought they were using a Zen 2 processor. I mean, that's what I heard. You think that AMD would have put one of their EPIC processors in the PS5 and have like 128 cores and 256 threads for a big time gaming, device? That would have been cool. And also too, that would have been about maybe $8,000. I ain't gonna be paying that for a PS5, trust me. I see the point. For compatibility reasons, maybe they do a die shrink. They probably do. They probably shrink it to the size of a laptop. And it's always been said that a desktop die is, with your laptop, it's one half of a desktop. It's one half of the desktop die that goes into a laptop. Could be, or it could be smaller. Who knows? But that's what I always heard. People ask me, and that's what I say. Used to be that they built everything on an integrated graphic process for your laptops. Now they found a way to split them and split the CPU and the GPU away from each other and build VRAM onto the main board of your laptop. So, me and MTBK were talking about that the other day. I'm so far behind in the times on laptops, maybe I need to start investing a little time into the new laptops and see what's cooking. Probably do. It's probably going to come a day that I'm going to be using a laptop and not a desktop. Never know. All depending on how these companies are going to act and react and everything else. All depends on what Microsoft's going to be doing, because I'm going to keep in light the Linux software. A lot of people are talking about going to Linux. If this crap keeps up with all these bugs and all these bugs with Microsoft software, people are thinking about, they're telling me, and people are telling them the same thing, that they're thinking about going to Linux. Well, you better have a little bit of programming technology to go to Linux. In here, a little bit of programming technology, because that's what it's going to take in order to build, your PC, the software. Linux is basically like a stripped out automobile. They took the engine out, they took the doors off, they took everything off of it. All you got is the frame and the paint. So that's it. So you have to build it up from nothing. You just got the operating system, bare bone, nothing in it, and you have to write all the code in there. Or you can find programs and pre-install the programs like you do Windows. If they work, they work. They don't, they don't. So, but it's free if you decide you want to do that anyway. So, I was thinking about sampling into it because I do got a secondary PC, and you know I can do anything I want with it. That might be an adventure I take you guys on with me when it comes to looking into the world of Linux. You know, could be something, could be interesting. But that's in the future. That's only if Microsoft becomes a bonehead and we have to go that route. Because a lot of people are going to ask me, Jay, we need to go to Linux. This is getting ridiculous. But for now, sit on Windows, update, go to Windows 11 24H2 if your computer handles it correctly. Okay, so I started running Linux on an older laptop. I have a long way to go with it. Yeah, it's pretty much you do. It's gonna take you close to maybe a year or a year and a half to have it working just right, just perfect enough. Or if you got the skill and know-how to make it work better, faster, then yeah. But you're still going to have to take time and build each one of the programs, you know, in order for it to work right. So, overall, I'm impressed with Linux so far. Well, I'll tell you, when I plugged in Linux Mint, I tried Linux Mint. I tried it for at least 2 weeks. That was back a long time ago. It was great. It ran all my programs just fine. But it just didn't feel like Windows back then. It didn't feel like, you know, Windows 10. So, but a lot of people are going to tell you it's not going to be easy. It's basically like getting on a bicycle. You have to learn how to ride a bicycle again, just like your programs. You have to learn how to manually upgrade and update them so you can have something that's running perfectly. But one word of warning to you all. If you go to Linux, make sure you find a good antivirus program. Not a free one, because the free ones don't really do anything. One that you can trust, that's going to work for you. Put that in first and then build from there. But if you don't have some kind of antivirus in there, then you'll be throwing your computer away in maybe 6 months to a year. So, but, it is almost 2 hours, guys. And I enjoyed our talk for today. And it's been fun. But the reason why I'm only going 2 hours today is because this camera here, I have to, when I unplug it, I have to plug it into a different power source to recharge it. This camera does not have instant recharging while you're using. So you use the camera, you're using all the battery power, and I just don't want it to cut out because this camera sat for a good year, and I didn't charge the battery neither. So Luckily, the battery held power. I was like shocked that the battery held power. So, I don't want it to cut out on us. So, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. And I do appreciate all 7 viewers that came up on the channel and stuck around for our little party. We had a total of 34 today. And I appreciate y'all, just to let you know. And I do thank you for joining in. But do remember, subscribe, hit the like button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. And you have a great day too, Kevin. And you all have a wonderful evening and stay safe. But until the next time and the next video, you guys know who it is. And we will see you on next Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be safe. We'll see you then.